But Todd, let's start with you, and you guys know how I feel about mentorship. So what are the things that you're doing to really kind of get that next generation to be culture carriers, not just people managers?
Yeah, I love this question. As we get older, as we start to think about retirement, we start thinking about legacy. We think about investing in people. And here in our organization, we actually developed our own leadership and training. We called it LIT for short. So we're LIT. We did that in 2018, before LIT was cool, I guess. But leadership and training what we do is we look across our organization, and we identify those emerging leaders, and we say, these are the people we want to invest in. These are the people that we want to get connected with more and more, because part of leadership and training is we want to get that next generation close to the current leader, so they understand how we think, why we think the way we think, why we do the things that we do. And so you have to have proximity. So part of our leadership and training is we do what we call micro mentorship. Okay, the micro mentorship is where we have those participants, they pair up, and they spend 90 minutes with people in our C-suite. They spend 90 minutes with our VPs, and they get to know them and talk to them. And like I said, get a better understanding of, how did you get to where you're at? Why do you think the way that you think? Tell me stories about success, stories about failures. And so they get to know our leadership. And through that, you just they get better connected to who we are. And so then when they go into that next leadership role, they are that culture carrier, because they've made that connection through the micro mentoring. The other two key components of our leadership and training is we really emphasize a growth mindset. So this leadership in training, it's a year-long process. Like I said, we nominate people, they come into the group, and we tell them, hey, here are the expectations. Yeah, we got the micro mentoring. The other part is we ask them to read 3 books. We have an extensive library of leadership books, and we pick 3 books out, and we say, these are the 3 books you're going to read this year, and we're going to engage over those. Over the course of the year, we're going to engage about those leadership books. So it's that growth mindset. And then the third component is, it's been said the hardest person you're ever going to lead is yourself. And so we want to help them get to understand who they are, how they're wired, how they think. So not just for themselves, but so they better understand themselves, and so they know how to better interact with the people that they're eventually going to be supervising and leading, and understanding how a team dynamic works. So those are the 3 components of how we mentor that next generation.
I love the micro component, and I love the fact that these folks are getting with the higher level. Oftentimes you might join a company and you never get to meet any of the higher ups. And so I love that you're allowing that to be part of the relationship and part of that program. I think that's really important. Alan, how about you?
Yeah, I love the toughest person that you'll ever lead is yourself. That's a key nugget and a key takeaway, self-awareness. Mm-hmm. All great answers, Todd. I have a couple of things to add in here. I really liked your legacy comment, but I think about the workforce that we have today. They're wired a little bit differently, and they bring such great potential and knowledge in technology. What some of the current generation is lacking is just the experience. And in some cases, mom and dad did everything for them, and they were helicoptered. And so trying to give them opportunities to lead and get in there. And I think a lot of that is sharing the why things are done and completed. As long as you explain it and talk about why the core values are so important, why we expect team members to live them, why we hold people accountable to them, it just really helps identify the potential that's within the leader. But they need to understand personal attributes, servant leadership concepts, listening, building trust, empathy. I think as an industry, we need to dust off some of the empathy aspects and really the listening. There's a lot of stress in our businesses. And so how to negotiate and navigate through conflict, how to interact with difficult people. All those traits and skills are going to help build and mentor what the culture truly brings. and how they do service recovery. It's all experiential in my opinion.